News, weather, sports, and more.
He's going to put on a whole show for you.
Terhaar in the morning on KNSI.
KNSI News Time. It's 9:16. Over the weekend, before Easter, I got it finished. Just read State of Infection. The author is Michael Frey. He joins me now from New York, from Westchester. Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I want to say congratulations, first of all, because I didn't realize until after I finished reading your book, State of Infection, that I read some of the other information, which is the way I usually do things. It's like reading the directions after you try to put something together. I read all of your press clippings and all the information after I read the book, and I didn't realize till that time that this was your first novel. Congratulations. This has got to be very exciting for you.
Yeah, it's awesome. I have done a lot of writing through the years, to offset my, busy career as a physician, but this is, a little bit of a creative escape, and it was just fun to write. And I think a short story, what started off as a short story, kind of turned into a novel on this one. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And so is it really that simple for you? You just kind of had this passion or this itch to do some writing, and it turned out to be a novel?
Well, I have always enjoyed creative writing over the years, and when I was at college at Brandeis University in Boston, I used to write for the paper, and afterward through medical school and in residency, I just would write little things here and there, short stories or poetry or whatever, and get them out. But this one started sort of after a long night of being on call and working, and I came home and I just kind of sat down and I sort of fell asleep at my chair, and I woke up after this crazy zombie dream about these people trying to survive in New York City after a zombie apocalypse, and I was like, what is this? And I just started writing what I thought was just going to be a little something, I don't know, and it just kept going, and the characters kept developing, and I found time here and there, through the year, to continue the story, and it somehow just turned into a novel, which is really exciting because I never thought I would have the time to do that with, a full-time day job, if you will. But it worked out.
What was the time span in there from that dream you had to the point where you had a finished copy of the book in your hands?
I would say it took about a year and change, a year and a couple months, with the publishing and the editing and all that stuff. But the actual writing was probably a year, and then there was probably 2 months of editing and publication.
Very exciting. And what caught my attention to the book State of Infection was the fact that I'm a big fan of the Walking Dead TV series, and that just caught my attention because I saw that it was listed as a zombie novel. I think it was described once as The Walking Dead meets Doomsday Preppers meets Gone with the Wind, which is kind of an interesting description, but it caught my attention. And what I really liked is, like a lot of people, I don't have a ton of time to dedicate to reading. So I like the fact that it wasn't a really long read. It was a fairly quick read, because then I can go through it in a weekend and be done. And because otherwise I get in the middle of the week and I forget, or I get too tired, and then pretty soon I got to go back and reread. So it was a perfect style of book for me. Are you a fan of the TV show Walking Dead? Did that have anything to do with your process?
Well, I mean, first of all, I agree. I'm totally like you. I like to just get through books, and I love books that I can finish up in less than a week. That's awesome. Unless I'm in my car. I reserve the car for the long audio books, and those are I'll put on a 1,000-page Stephen King and just let it go, and that'll get me going for my commute. But Walking Dead, huge fan. fan. I love Walking Dead. Yeah, I think my wife kind of turned me onto it, and it was when I first started watching it, I just couldn't believe how entertaining it was. I've always been a fan. I've always been like a zombie guy, and I've always liked horror movies and the horror films and books and things. But Walking Dead was definitely awesome, and I think that was definitely an influence for me in writing this book.
There's something strange about zombies and The Walking Dead, because my wife, who would never watch anything that was above average in far as the gore factor or the gross out factor, but she'll watch The Walking Dead, and that's obviously loaded with those things. I don't know what it is about it. It's what kind of reaction have you gotten from friends and family about this book?
Friends and family have been very supportive, and I've really enjoyed it. By the way, my wife is the same way. She absolutely has no interest in anything gory or horror. And when I started watching The Walking Dead, we started watching it together, and she was like, "Wow, this is good, but it's just too much for me." And now she's glued to the set with me.
I can't figure that one out. Can you?
I don't know. Although I will say we've also become big Game of Thrones fans, and there's a lot of violence and stuff in that one as well. A lot of gore and violence, but when it's a good story, you just kind of get caught up in it. But my friends and family have been great, and they all have told me they like it, so that's good. They could be lying. They might be lying.
Well, sometimes friends and family are really, really kind, but
yeah, they sometimes have to do that. I know my grandmother loved it. Yeah, but so it's been a great experience, and I've enjoyed sharing this book with everybody.
That should be on the inside cover, quotations. My grandmother loves it.
Absolutely.
That would be perfect.
Well, at least she says she loves it.
You're right. My grandma says she loves it, so that's perfect. So without giving too much of the story away, by the way, we're talking with author, did it take you very long to get used to people saying author Michael Frey?
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny. It's different than Doctor or Daddy or any of the other titles that I usually go by. So this is a new one.
Without giving too much away, this book, and if you haven't figured out, it's about zombies. It's about a outbreak. It's based in New York City, Manhattan, very close to where you live now. But it involves not only that, but it involves things like Civil War history. You kind of took it a few different directions, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, like you said, I thought the most apt review that I had read was the Walking Dead meets Doomsday Preppers meets Gone with the Wind. I think that's just about as close as you can get to the heart of it. You have a New York City doctor. His name is Mike Calif, who is infatuated with his best friend's girlfriend, who's a TV reporter in the city. And Mike manages to keep his desire under wraps, at least until this infection hits the city. That's called Montoya's encephalopathy. And then the zombie infection, breaks out, and so they get trapped inside an apartment in New York City, where they're pretty safe up on the 21st floor, and that's when they get to know each other. And about that time, like you mentioned about the history, the book starts flashing back to the Civil War and to a doctor aboard a Confederate gunboat investigating a new sickness, which is afflicting the crew. And the two stories kind of run parallel to each other, and they meet up in the end, where, without giving too much away, where the first Civil War meets up with the second Civil War. And that's sort of how it goes.
Are you working on novel number 2 yet?
Right now, I have been pretty busy with work and with involvement with the book. They have me pretty busy with book signings and meeting people, and that's a lot of fun, and doing some radio interviews, which is awesome. And I think after all this is done, then I I would think about writing some more. And I don't know if it would be the sequel to this or just something completely new. I'm not sure.
Well, you pretty much left it. You left it ripe for a sequel if that's the direction you try and go.
Yeah, I definitely did. I definitely did. I was like, should I keep going from here? I was like, no, I think it feels kind of done, and this is a good place to leave them for now and see what happens.
Well, Michael, again, congratulations on your first novel. I know that's very exciting. I appreciate your time, and I'll stay in touch, and we'll look forward to another piece from you. And after you get back to work here, we'll give away some copies of your book here on the air.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, that is Michael Frey. He is the author of State of Infection, a new novel, his first novel, which has got to be pretty thrilling to do something like that and get it out and get it published. And so congratulations to him. I've got some copies of the book. If you are interested in a copy, I've got a few, 1, 2, 3, I got about 4 copies of it here. Also, I didn't ask Michael about that, but that's fine. It also comes with a special bottle of hand disinfectant with the State of Infection markings on it and stuff. So kind of a nice little gimmicky thing to go along with the book. So call now 251-1990, 251-1990, and you can get a copy of Michael Frey's debut novel, State of Infection, from AM 1450, FM 1033, KNSI. Going to take a break. We'll come back. News is next at 9:30. State news, local news, everything from Mike Tanner in the newsroom and NBC News on the way as well. 43 degrees right now, clear skies at KNSI.